jointly organized by Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies and Faculty of Science and Technology of this university. This scholarly expert series This scholarly lecture series was began from the idea of our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir and coordinated by the Office of the Dean, and uh, it gives me immense pleasure to extend warm welcome to Dr. Londhe Sir. He is our respected speaker of this second lecture. Respected Londhe Sir is presently working in the Government College of Engineering at Chandrapur. He is actively involved in the area of research and teaching since last decade. And during this period of last decade, last 10 years, he contributed more than 20 research papers uh, involved in the different faculty improvement program, faculty development program, continuous education program, and delivered many lectures as a resource person. Also, he participated in many national and international seminars and conferences and presented his research work. So, I'm very happy to tell to all the audience that um, how to write the research paper and how to get involved in the process of research and publication is a question of our interest, and this lecture series directly deals with that, the question of our interest. So how to write a research paper as well as why to write it are two important questions for everyone who are participated in this lecture series. Now I request Dr. Londhe sir, please sir, accept our warm welcome and start your scholarly lecture. Respected Dr. Londhe sir.
Thank you, Joshi sir. My voice is clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Joshi sir. And first of all, I would like to thanks to the whole organization, the Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, the Honorable Vice Chancellor sir, and the organizing Dean Offices of the Faculties of Interdisciplinary Studies and the Faculties of Science and Technology. Special thanks to the Dr. L.M. Wagmare sir, who was my PhD guide, and who was who is always the motivation behind all this kind of work that I'm doing. And I'm very much thankful to the Wagmare sir for inviting me for this expert talk. Thank you very much, sir. So we'll begin with the today's talk. So let me share my screen first. I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So as informed by the Joshi sir, the title of the today's talk is Writing Research Proposals. Many researchers they want to publish, or they want to submit a research proposal to different research organizations for availing the funding for their project. Okay, this is the biggest interest amongst the researchers, and today we'll discuss all the aspects about the research proposals. And the first of all, we discuss why research proposals are important. So we find the answer of why, and then how we can write the research proposals. And this session is divided into two parts. The first part that will discuss today, and the second first part will be including only the theoretical aspects and the motivation behind the research proposals, and what are the steps and what are the elements of the research proposal that we'll discuss today. And the advanced version, that is actually how we write a research paper. We'll take some examples of the research proposals, and we'll do some practice, and we'll actually write some sample research research proposals in the second part, which will be on 24th of August. Okay. Before I start with the actual content, just I would like to brief out about my research journey once again within 2 minutes only. So in 2011, I completed my BE degree in instrumentation from DY Patil, Pimpri. And then after completing my BE, I joined MTech degree in 2013 in the Department of Instrumentation, AGGS, Londhe. And then during my MTech, I worked as a junior research fellow on one of the sponsor project by the Board of Research in Nuclear Science, that is BRNS, that is BRC. Okay, so here I got the opportunity to work on the sponsored project. Okay, so here I got the motivation for the research, right? Then during my MTech, I had a frequent visit to BRC. I communicated with their scientists. Like I got guidance from Dr. A.P. Tiwari, who is a outstanding scientist and head of the control division at BRC. Okay, so during this interaction, I got the interest in the research. Okay, and then after completing of my MTech, I joined a private institute as an assistant professor. But after 4 months and maybe after 4.5 months, I got a call from Dr. Wagmare sir that why can't you join for the PhD program? So I really thankful to the Dr. Wagmare sir, and because of him only I got opportunity to come back to the AGGS again, and then I joined as another sponsored project as a GRF. The project is sponsored by the Board of Naval Research, that is NRP, that is DRDO. This is a branch of DRDO. So on this project, initially I worked as a junior research fellow, and then I got opportunity to work as a full-time research scholar. So here I registered as a PhD research scholar under the guidance of Dr. B.M. Patre sir and Dr. L.M. Wagmare sir. So here I got opportunity to work on the second sponsor research project. Okay. Then during my PhD work, I visited many times as a visiting research scholar at Center of Robotics and Control, IIT Indore, for the collaborative research work under the guidance of Dr. M. Santakumar, who is a professor at IIT Indore. So here I got the many exposure for the research. After completing my PhD work, I joined as assistant professor in one of the good private institute in the Pune, that is Maharashtra Academy of Naval Education and Training, that is MANET. But with a short period of span only I spent here, I got selected as a assistant professor through MPSC, and my first posting to the Chandrapur Government College. And I joined here on 3rd of August till today. So the last 3rd of August only I completed 5 years in the Chandrapur. Okay, so this was my journey, and recently I got a research sanction proposal from the Gondwana University. So that I will discuss in the second part of our topic. Okay. Now coming to the first part, why to write research proposals, right? So what are the qualities? What are the essential requirements required for a researcher to write a research proposal? So we need to have a research aptitude. Okay, research aptitude. Now, what do you mean by research aptitude? Okay, so it is an attitude. It is an attitude of inquiry. It is an attitude of inquiry. It is an attitude of research. It is an attitude of search. It is attitude of investigations. Okay, so you have to build with a attitude for inquiry, search and investigation, okay, with a scientific and objective effort made to uncover the facts which are uncovered, which are unknown, okay, hence require the application of scientific methods, right? So we should have attitude of inquiry, we should have attitude of search, we should have attitude of collecting the useful data and finding the gaps of research from the existing research, okay. Yes, now how do you develop a aptitude in research? Okay, very few steps. I'll explain in a very simple way. Okay, step number 1, identify a broad field or subject area of interest to you. Okay, broad field means, for example, I'll take example like you want to work in the field of artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is a very big field. Okay, so let us focus on let us choose first the field of your interest. For example, I would like to do my research in artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is my broad area, or is my broad field, or we can say subject area of interest. Second step is that dissect the broad area into sub areas. Sub areas means what? For example, in artificial intelligence there are so many sub areas. For example, maybe you take the neural network is a sub areas, then you take the fuzzy logic, then you take the genetic algorithm, okay, you take the deep learning. So these are the sub areas, okay. Then for example, I'll take based upon my interest. For example, I like fuzzy logic, okay, so I'll choose the fuzzy logic. Among artificial intelligence, I choose the fuzzy logic. Then we'll come to the third step, select what is most interest to you. Fuzzy logic is the most interest for me, so I choose the third step, select fuzzy logic. Then in step 4, raise research questions. Okay, research questions means what? How fuzzy logic is developed, how it is useful, what are the merits of the fuzzy logic over other methods, okay, what are the properties of the fuzzy logic, how it is useful for the nonlinear systems, why fuzzy logic got the importance in the recent years. These are the research questions, and you have to find out the answer of these research questions. And once you got the answer, you have to go to the step number 5, that is formulate the objectives. Formulate the objectives means what? See, you have decided to go for fuzzy logic, for example, then you have to choose the application for which you have to design fuzzy logic. For example, I want to design a fuzzy logic for the robot control application. Okay, then I will formulate objective. What is objective? My objective is to develop a intelligent controller for robotic control system. This is my objective. So I'll then come to the narrow side. Okay, so I will formulate one objective, that is design of fuzzy logic controller for robotic control system. Okay, then assess your objective. Step number 6, assess means what? You have to validate your objectives. That means how you can design, what methodology you can use to design a fuzzy logic controller for the human robotic system. Okay, then you have to think about the practical side of the your idea. So can your idea can be implemented on practical side? Yes, if it is possible, then this is known as assessing your objectives. If yes, that is, we can say, the formulation of the research hypothesis and their validation, right? That is doing the experiment. Can it possible to do the experimentation for the proposed idea? Can we validate the proposed idea through experimentation? Yes, which is known as assessing your objectives. So this is how you can formulate the we can develop the research aptitude in a research. Okay, so this is very important step, right? Now what is the importance of the research proposals? Okay, or we can say the research. What is the importance of research in our daily life? Okay, what research will give you? The research will give you the ability to think critically. Okay, critical thinking approach gets developed when once you go into the research, right? For every problem you think critically. what will be the solution, what will be its optimal solution, right? So this ability to develop a critical thinking comes from only the aptitude of research. Okay, also is gives you knowledge and new learnings. Your knowledge will be added with new learnings. Also provide us an information that we can apply or use in daily life. Daily life means, for example, you want to buy a smartphone. Okay, so what you do, you go, you don't go directly to the to the to buy the phone. What you do, you first do some research. What kind of memory you want, what kind of specifications for the smartphone you want, what kind of camera you want. So you do some research. You put your thoughts for finalizing the smartphone, right? That's nothing but research aptitude. Okay, so research is a search for facts and knowledge. Research is really important because it reveals reality and unreality. Okay, very important. So research is to see what everybody else has seen. So first of all, we have to find out what everybody has done. What is the existing research that we need to first understand, and later on, after we knowing the fact that this is the research done by these many researchers over a period of time in the field of, for example, fuzzy logic, or in the field of neural network, then we have to think about nobody else has thought. Okay, so thinking what nobody else has thought is nothing but it's the beginning of research. Okay, that means finding out the research gaps. Okay, for example, can you imagine if there were no discovery in the field of medical science? There will be no MRI, no aesthetic, no birth control, no X-ray machine, no insulin, no penicillin. Okay, no, there is no vaccine. Okay, can you imagine? So this is the gift of research, right? So research increases the quality of life. Okay, research increases the quality of life, right? Because nowadays, if you compare your life 10 years before and your current life, you can experience that you are living with the standard life, you are living with the quality of life, because with a fraction of second you can transfer the money with advanced technology. By a fraction of second you can book a cab. Within a minute you can book food for you. So this is the fruits of the scientific research. So research increases the quality of the life. Research empowers us with the knowledge. Okay, research increases the knowledge base. So though the scientists carry out research, the rest of the world benefits from their findings. Okay, so as a result, okay, we get to enrich our lives, human lives, with the latest technology of health, nutrition, then business, in every area where we are growing because of the research, because of the empowerment of the knowledge through the research. Okay, research drives for progress forward. Okay, thanks to the scientific research, that is modern medicine can cure disease like tuberculosis and malaria. Okay, so we should thankful to the scientific research, right? Even the COVID-19, a very novel disease, has been successfully I would say cured by the vaccine developed by the researchers. Okay, so this is the use of research to individual life. See, every individual life is we can say benefited from the research. Okay, so research has done wonders for our society in terms of living standards. It is responsible for bringing about modern technologies like smartphone, computers, and internet. Okay, so these are the importance of research, right? Now research is important in everybody's life. So what research gives us? Okay, so from my perspective, what I experience personally, research gives us a light to inquire about right information. Okay, you always have a focused mind once you develop the aptitude of research, right? So it develops an attitude not to believe everything very easily available. Okay, unless and until you verify the given information, you are not able to believe immediately. So this happened, this attitude developed only if you have a research aptitude with you. Okay. Third, if you say it sharpens the brain and gives it a judicious vision to look. Judicious means a very broad region, a very broad vision to look for every problem. Okay, you always feel motivated. You always find some optimized solution. Once you have research aptitude, leads to the ultimate philosophy of all the subjects and builds a graphic vision for life. Okay, it adds a maturity in your thought. It change your vision about your life. Okay, this is the research is very important in our life. So empower us with knowledge and efficient learning of new things. We always keep on learning new things. Okay, help us in understanding various issues of life in larger manner. Evolves us to mark out the thin line between truth and lie. We can easily identify what is the actual truth and lie. Okay, so that ability we are getting once you have the research aptitude. Opens new vistas of opportunity before us to pick and choose. Many times we get confused for selecting the things. Okay, so my slides are moving. No, is it okay? Hello. Hello,
sir.
Sir, you are on first slide.
सर आवाज येतोय आपला?
Okay, I am only first slide only.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me again share my screen. Okay.
सर ओके सर, आता मूव झाली सर. 12व्या स्लाइड वर गेला तुम्ही आता.
Okay, it is clear now.
येस सर.
Yes, sir. Yes.
सर तुम्ही ते स्लाइडला हे करा ना सर, आपलं स्लाइड शो मध्ये ओपन करा ना, कारण ती साइडची विंग दिसणार आणि पूर्ण स्क्रीन दिसेल ती.
Yes, yes, it is slide slow only. Slide show, no?
नाही दिसते वेळेस आता हे दिसते फक्त साइडला आउटलाईन जस्ट आपण जे एडिटिंग करतो त्या टाइपची दिसते.
आता दिसतंय?
हा दिसतंय सर, दिसते सर.
Is okay
12
now?
नंबरची, हो 15 नंबरची स्लाइड दिसते आता.
Yes, yes. Okay, it is clear, no?
हो येस सर.
Thank you. Now, so research opens new vistas of opportunity before us to pick and choose. So many times, to selecting or to choosing some things, we are getting confused, which is correct and which is wrong. So that aptitude we get once we have research aptitude. So makes good habits of reading, okay, analyzing, thinking, learning. So all the good habits of analyzing the given things from the given data is developed because of the research aptitude. Okay. Now, what research skills do a researcher need to have a research aptitude? Okay. What is the research skills? Refer to the ability to search for, locate, extract the useful information, organize the information, evaluate the given data, and use or present information that is relevant to a particular topic. Okay. So search for correct information, locate the information, extract the information, organize the information, evaluate the information, and present the information. These are the skills required for a researcher to develop research aptitude. So now to become a researcher, very 5 simple skills you should have. So first one is a project management. Okay. So every research project requires a degree of project management. So project management is the first thing that researcher must have, because we need to work under a team. Okay, so we have to manage the project for under various circumstances by considering the manpower, by considering the resources available, so considering the timeline of the project. Then second is the handling the budgets. Okay, so this is the another skill. We have to learn how we have to effectively use our budget to develop the project to satisfy the given objectives of the project. Okay, so cost effective solution is the primary requirement of any project. Okay, so that also we see in the detail in the upcoming slides. So then the third one is a team leading and managing. So many times we have to work with a team. So for a single project, there may be one project investigator, there may be more than one co-investigator, then under that there may be some research assistants. So you have to work in a team. So managing this team with the objective of the research is very important. Then handling data, that means we must able to segregate the data, we must able to extract the useful data from the given available data, okay? Or you must able to find out the statistical properties of the data, okay? So handling of data is very much important skill every researcher must be. Then IT skill, that means you must able to handle the basics, basics of like Microsoft Office, then Power Excel sheets, or maybe some advanced tools, maybe MATLAB, and this kind of software you must able to know in order to analyze the given data through these advanced tools. So IT skills are required. So what are the skills requirement? Project management, handling the budgets effectively, team management, team leading, handling the data, and IT skills. So these are the 5 skills required to have for a researcher. So this is the importance of the research in our daily life. These are the qualities that need to be have in a researcher to carry out the research. So this is the, I think, answer of why we go for research, or why we do the research. Okay, now we go to the second part of this, how we can write research proposals. So before that, I just would like to inform you that there are research councils of India. So these are the research institutes who offer the research funding to the researchers across the country. So Council of Industrial and Scientific Research, CSIR. Okay, then Department of Atomic Energy, that is Bhabha Atomization Center. Then Defense Research and Development Organization, that is DRDO. Then Indian Academy of Sciences, Indian National Academy of Engineering, Indian Council for Agriculture Research. So these are the organizations. They offer funded projects for the researchers who are interested to carry the research in their areas. Okay, so every researcher can visit their official websites. There are you can submit your research proposals based upon their area of interest. You can formulate the research proposals and submit over here. Then you will get the funding from these institutes. Then other like Indian Council for Historical Research, Indian Council for Medical Research, Indian Council for Philosophical Research. There are so many organizations there where you can submit your research proposal. So opportunities are there, but you need to prepare your proposal with proper guidelines and with proper objectives. That is important thing that we will discuss. Okay. Then apart from that, there are another institutes like agriculture sciences, then biological and medical science, chemical science, physical science, earth science, engineering science, materials, then minerals, metallurgy, then multidisciplinary areas. So there are 216 state level or central level institutes are there where the research is carried out. Okay, right? Right. Now, what is the research proposal? Okay, so research proposal, first we discuss the definition of research.
सर थोडं डिस्टर्ब करतोय, अजून स्लाइड तिथेच अडकलेली आहे 15 नंबरच्या स्लाइड वरच.
ओके, बट अच्छा मी तो मूव करतोय, का बरं होत नाही?
नाही, इकडे नाही सर. एक काम करा सर, तुम्ही शेअरिंग स्टॉप करा आणि पूर्ण स्क्रीन शेअर करून नंतर पीपीटी पॉवर पॉइंट ओपन करा.
ओके
फक्त
ओके,
पॉवर पॉइंट नका ओपन करू, तेव्हा हा प्रॉब्लेम येतो.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक आहे ठीक आहे.
शेअरिंग स्टॉप करा आणि शेअर करते वेळेस पूर्ण स्क्रीन, होल स्क्रीन शेअर करा कम्प्युटरची.
ओके 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 सर. Is it okay, sir? Is it okay, sir? Hello.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Now it is visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just a minute.
मूव होत आहे सर.
होते ना मूव आता?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Now a research proposal. What do you mean by research proposal? Let me. Okay. Now research proposal. The definition of research proposal. What is research proposal? So research proposal is not like a big dissertation report, or it is not like a big report. Okay. So research proposal is a very concise and coherent summary of your proposed research idea. Okay. It is a very small document. Okay, with a very concise and coherent summary of your research idea. So it sets up the central issues or questions that you intend to address. Okay, it outlines the general area of study within which your research falls, referring to the current state of knowledge. Current state of knowledge means whatever the research area you are choosing, that must be recent trend in the industry or in the market. So always choose a research topic with the current trends. Okay. If you choose the old topic or classical topic, then it is very difficult to find out the research gaps and to prove the significance of the research has become difficult. So always choose the area which is currently trending in the market. Okay, like deep neural network which is trending in the market, or I would say the Internet of Things. So likewise, you can choose the topic which has a huge demand in the market. Okay, and any recent debates on the topic, the recent debates which is going on the topic. So you have a scope to add something into the current research. Okay, it also demonstrates the originality of your research proposal. Okay, so originality of the research you can demonstrate through the research proposal, right? So a research proposal should present your idea or questions. Questions means research questions. Okay, research questions means what? How your research is important to the society, how you will carry out your research, what are the methodologies you are going to adopt for your research. Okay, so with expected output with clarity and definition, right? This comes under the research proposal. So it should also make a case for why your question is significant and what value you will add to the current existing knowledge. That is very important. So what small contribution you can do, what are the limitations of the existing theory. Okay, so that you have to make a highlight in the proposal, right? So a research proposal is a document that proposes a particular research project, usually in academia or in sciences, intending to get a funding from an institution. So there are basically two types of research proposals. Maybe you are pursuing MTech degree, maybe you are pursuing PhD degree. Okay, so submitting the research proposal for your MTech project or PhD work. Okay, so that research proposal may be many times we will say it is about the research synopsis. Okay, so that may be okay, a very simple proposal without any funding. Okay, there are two types of proposal. One is you are claiming funding from the funding agency, that is one proposal, and another is a simple proposal, that is you are submitting research proposal to your supervisor or to the university for your PhD work or for your MTech work. Okay, but if you want to avail some research funding from the university, okay, from the funding agencies like central institutes, okay, or central organizations, then a typical research proposal addresses the following points. What is the first point? Research questions that the proposed research seeks to answer. What are the research questions? See, what is the motivation for your research? What is the scope of your research? Then what is the purpose of your research? What is the significance of your research? Okay, so if you are able to answer these questions, then you are ready to write a research proposal. The second, the data and methods that you will use to answer the questions. Now, what are the methods? What are the research methodology you are going to use to answer these questions? This is very important. Second, the third one, the time and financial cost of the research. How much time it will take to complete your research objectives? That is also a point to be considered. Then financial cost. What is the budget that you required to complete your project objectives. That is, how many equipments you would like to purchase. Okay, what is the cost? Then what is its running cost? Then what is its experimental cost? So all these things you have to include. If you need some technical assistant, then you have to add this also. Okay, so this is the financial cost of the research project, that also you have to consider. Okay, then prior research in the field, that is literature review. Okay, a very strong literature review is required to convince the reader that you are choosing a research topic with in the relevant field, which is proven previously by the researchers. So for that you need a strong literature review. Okay, and the potential benefits for the sponsoring institution. For example, you are applying for a research funding or research proposal for DRDO project, DRDO institute organization, or maybe BRC, or maybe state university. So what are the benefits from your project for the sponsoring institute? That also you have to highlight in the proposal. Okay, so if you know all these points, then you are ready to write a research proposal. Okay, so what is the first thing? Research questions. Then what is the research methodology? Then time and financial cost. Then what is the prior research done in the field? And what are the potential benefits for the sponsoring institution? For example, if you are submitting your research proposal to the state university like SRTM university, then what are the benefits from your research to the state university? That you have to highlight in the project, in the proposal. That is very important. Okay. Then why the research proposal is important? The proposal is most important document that you submit as a part of application process. So when you submit a application to the university or to the organization, research organization, then you have to submit the proposal in the form of application form. Okay, so this is the application process. This is the first step, that you have to prepare the proposal as the template given by the funding agency. Okay, then second, it gives you an opportunity to demonstrate that you have the aptitude for graduate level research. For example, for demonstrating that you have ability to communicate complex ideas very clearly, very simply, simple manner, very concisely and critically. So you are showcasing your research aptitude, okay, through this research proposal. So this is an opportunity for researcher to showcase their research aptitude, okay, towards the complex problem, right? The proposal also helps us to match your research interest with the appropriate supervisor. That means, for example, you want to write a proposal for your PhD. So you can choose the area of interest of your supervisor, and accordingly you can prepare the research proposal and submit to the your supervisor along with the university. Okay, so it helps to match your area of interest with your supervisor's area of interest. So these are the important points, or we can say the importance of the research proposal. Okay, now how long should be the research proposal? That means the research papers, we have a limit of maybe 5 to 6 pages, depends upon the journal and conferences. Likewise, the research proposals are also limited to around, this is approximate figure, 2,500 to 3,500 word limits, which comes approximately 4 to 7 pages. Okay, so it is a very short document with a concise and coherent summary of information. Okay, and it is important to note that specific funding bodies might have different word limit. Okay, different word limit. Maybe some funding agency have word limit of 2,000 words. So within 2,000 words only, you have to write all the things, like your purpose, your objective, your methodology, your significance of research, your budget, your schedule, all these things you have to write only with the given word limit. Okay, so it is very short and concise document. Right now, how to write a research proposal? How to write a research proposal, and what are the elements? What are the elements are there in a typical research proposal? Okay, so a research proposal describes what you will investigate, why it is important, and how you will do the research. What, why, and how. If you are able to find the answer of these three questionnaires, what we will investigate, that is purpose of the research, why it is important, that is significance of the research, and how you will do the research, that is research methodology. Okay, if you are able to answer these questions, yes, then you will able to write the research proposal. Okay, which is very simple one. It is not difficult. Okay, so now to write or to search the answer of what, why, and how, you have to write the answer in the following points. Okay, so format of research proposal varies between fields, but most proposals should contain at least these elements. Okay, this is a one typical example. The first element is what? The purpose of the research proposal. The purpose, what is the purpose? Why you are doing research? What is the purpose of, what is the scope of research? That is very important. Okay, then title page. Okay, so what is the title of your research? The title has to be very concise, very informative, and short. It should not be too lengthy. Okay, so that care you have to take. Then introduction. Then is the next part is the introduction. For example, you want to do the research in the deep neural network. So you have to first write what is deep neural network. You have to introduce the deep neural network. You can use 2 or 3 paras to introduce what is deep neural network, how it is developed over a period of time, what are the significant advantages of deep neural network over existing methodology. So this is the point you have to highlight in the introduction. Why you are choosing the deep neural network, what is the motivation for deep neural network, that you have to highlight in the introduction part. The next part is the literature review. See, literature review is the most important part of your research proposal, because through researcher review only you will able to convince the reader, yes, that your topic is having a fundamental base. It is having some good credentials from the literature. Okay, so how to do literature review, all these things I have separate slides for that, we'll discuss in detail. Then research design and methods, that is research methodology. How you will how you will get your research objectives. Okay, so you have to specify what are the methods you are going to use. So you may use alternative methods also. Okay, so alternative solutions you have to mention to find out or to satisfy the objectives of the research proposal. Okay, so research design and methods are very important part of the research proposal. Then what are the implications and contributions to the knowledge? So what is the importance of your research at international level, at national level, at state level? Okay, so that you have to highlight. Excuse me. So the implications and contribution of your research to the existing knowledge, that you have to highlight. Then reference list or bibliography. So reference list, that means you have to use very strong references to support your statement of research, right? Then research schedule, that means how you will carry the research with respect to time, that you have to mention, that also we are going to see. Then budget, the budget is very important. Okay, because to find the low cost solution is the main objective of any research. Okay, right? So budget is very important. If you give very optimum solution with respect to budget, then there are more chances for your research proposal to get sanctioned. Okay, so budget plays a vital role. Budget plays a vital role in any research proposal. Then revision and proofreading. So you have to do the revision of the proposal, many times, do the proofreading, and then only submit your proposal to the funding agencies. Okay, then let us talk about the purpose of a research proposal. Okay, what is the purpose of research proposal? Then see, purpose of research proposal, that is what is the aim of your research proposal. Okay, so that aim is divided into 4 categories, I would say. The first is relevance, second is the context, third is the approach, and fourth is the feasibility. Okay, so what is relevance means what? So you have to convince the reader that your project is interested. Your project is interested, original, and important. That means you have to choose the topic which is trending in the market, which is having huge demand in the upcoming market. Okay, or maybe, for example, electrical vehicle. Okay, so which is now very demanding. So how you improve the battery life of the electric vehicle. Okay, so that likewise, if you choose the topic which is very related to the upcoming research or current ongoing or trending research, or which is very interested for the society, or maybe the well-being of the human beings. So that point of view, you have to relate you have to convince your research proposal, your title of the research, or scope of the research, or aim of the research. Then context. What is context? Show that you are familiar with the field. Familiar with the field means what? That means that, for example, if you are submitting your research proposal for funding agency, then it is essential to have some credibility of the researcher. That means, for example, suppose I am writing some research proposals to some research agency, then I should have some credentials, academic credentials, like the credentials in terms of maybe the PhD, credentials in terms of maybe research publications, credentials in terms of maybe your patents, books. So these are the credentials. So if you have a good publication record, then it is very easy to convince the reader that you are familiar with the current field. Okay, you understand the current state of research on the topic, and you have idea that your idea have a strong academic basis. Okay, so if you have a good academic credentials in terms of publications, then it is very easy to convince the reader that you are having a research idea with you are very familiar with, and with a strong academic basis. The third point is approach. Okay, so approach means what? Research methodology. So you have to make a case for your methodology, showing that you have a carefully thought about data, okay, tools and procedures you will need to conduct the research. So what kind of procedures you are going to follow, what type of method, what type of tools, what type of data you are going to use. So that you have to clearly mention in the aims or objectives of the research. That is known as purpose of the research. Okay, that is very important. Then feasibility. Feasibility means you have to check the practical side of your proposal. That means you have to confirm that the project idea can be implemented in real time with given practical constraints. Okay, maybe in the available resources you are able to validate your research idea or your research hypothesis, right? So which is known as feasibility. Okay, so you have to consider these points while writing the purpose of your research proposal. So your research has to be relevance with the context, with proper approach, and have feasibility. Okay, is it clear? So you have to consider these points while writing the purpose. Purpose of the research proposal has to be very clear, very concise. If the purpose is very much clear, then the reader get interest in your research ideas. Then he will go in the next part of your research proposal. The next part, which is very important, is a literature review. Okay, so a strong literature review convinces the reader that your project has a solid foundation in existing knowledge of theory. Okay, so strong literature review is very important. It also shows that you are not simply repeating what other people already done. Literature review doesn't mean that you are just taking the sentences from the other researchers and you're saying that this author has done this and this author has done. This is not the way of doing the literature review. You have to find out a useful information. You have to interpret the useful information from the available research done by the researchers, and you have to write with your own words that these are the findings of the existing work done by the researchers. Okay, this is known as a strong literature review, which convinces the reader that yes, you have done, you know about the existing theory, about the area of interest that you are want to funding. Okay, so how to write literature review. So it has following points that we can consider. First, the literature is doing the if you do the literature review, then we have to do the comparative analysis and contrast analysis. Comparative means what are the main theories, okay, mentioned in the existing literature review, what are the methods available in the existing literature review, what are the debates, what are the controversies also, what are the controversies, that also you have to mention. Okay, so you have to always compare the research done by the one researcher or other researchers with your thought process. Okay, comparative analysis you have to done, that is very important. Okay, if for example in 2000 this particular XYZ author has done this work, then in 2002 this particular author has overcome his limitation by improving this method and blah and blah. Okay, so likewise you have to write the comparative way, you have to write literature review. Once you have the comparative analysis, then you have to find out its critical evaluation. Critical evaluation means what? You have to interpret what are the strength and weakness of different approaches available in the literature. Okay, so what are the strengths and weakness? Okay, and then you have to show how your research fits to overcome the weaknesses of the existing research. So how you will build on, how you accept the challenges to overcome the existing weaknesses, or how you synthesize the work of others. Okay, so likewise the flow of literature review. So first you have to compare and contrast the literature, then you have to critically evaluate the literature based upon their strength and weaknesses, and then you have to show that how your research area is useful to overcome the limitations or weaknesses of the existing work. Okay, so this is how this will be the flow of the literature review. Okay, so a literature review is a survey of scholarly sources on a specific topic. It provides an overview of current knowledge, allowing you to identify relevant theories and methods and gaps in existing research. Finding gaps in research, existing research, is nothing but the motivation for your research. Finding a research gap is very important, because unless and until you thoroughly go for the available research, you have to read the lot many papers, and then only then you get idea about what is the gap you can find. Okay, so finding a gap is not a simple task. For that you need to have a thorough knowledge about the existing work done by the researchers. Okay, so writing a literature review involves finding relevant publications, maybe your journal articles, maybe books. Okay, and then critically analyzing them and explaining what you found, that is evaluating the existing methods based on your analysis, critical analysis. Okay, so there are 5 elements, 5 steps. First step is search for relevant literature. Okay, you may go for search engine. You search for your area of interest, maybe deep neural network. Then after searching, you will get many options. Okay, you may get so many journal papers, so many conference papers, so many books available on your area of interest. Okay, then among that you have to choose, evaluate the resources. That means I must go for good impact journal papers, good quality journal papers, or maybe Sci index, or maybe Sci-E index, or maybe at least Scopus index journal papers. So that the way you can evaluate these sources, because the authenticity of the sources is very much important to convince that your research area is good. Okay, so evaluation of resources based upon their quality is very important. Then third is identify the themes, debates and gaps. Identify what are the research gaps available and what are the limitations of the existing research. This is nothing but motivation for your research. Then outline the structure. Outline the structure. That means you have to write the comparative study, then contrast study, then critical evaluation. Okay, and then final, what are the limitations and how you will overcome that limitations with your proposed research idea. That is outlining the structure. Then write your literature review based upon the above points. Okay, so this is how you can write the literature review. A good literature review doesn't just summarize the sources. Okay, it is not only to just summarize the sources. It analyze, synthesize, critically evaluate, and give a clear picture of state of knowledge of the subject. Okay, now for example, you take a single paper, maybe a good journal paper of your area of interest, and you can ask the following questions to that paper. And if you find out the answer to these questions, yes, then you will be able to write the literature review. So what is the question? So what is the problem that author has addressed in the given research paper? That is the first question. What are the key concepts and how they are defined? What are the key theories? What are the models, methods that is considered by the author? Does the research use established framework or take an innovative approach? Is there any innovative approach considered by the researcher? That you have to search. Okay, what are the results and conclusions of the study? Right? How does the publication relate to other literature in the field? Does it confirm? Does it add something new or challenge established knowledge? Okay, how does the publication contribute to your understanding of your topic? What are the key insights and arguments? What are the strength and weakness of your research? So if you are able to answer these questions from a particular research paper, yes, then you can able to write a literature review. Okay, so write a literature review with finding the answer of these questions will lead to a strong literature review, right? So make sure that you use a credible sources. Credible means what? Always use the resources, always use the literature which has credibility. That means go for Sci index journals, go for Sci-E index journals, go for Scopus index journals, go for patents, go for good reputed books for citing your literature. So that will increase the credibility of your proposal. That you are using some benchmark papers, you are using some landmark studies, you are referring major theories in your area of research. Okay, so that is very important. Don't use tier 3 journals for the citing your literature review. Always use tier 1 journals which enhance the credibility of your proposal. So you can find out how many times that given article has been cited on Google Scholar. That is high citation count means article has been influenced in the field and should certainly be included in your literature review. If that given article having more citation, high citation, that means it is influence in the field of your area. So you must include that journal or that article in your literature review. So as you read, you should also begin writing the process. Always have a habit of writing the points. So if you read article number 1, yes, I am getting this idea from this article, from this para, from this line. Always keep a habit of writing some notes, some landmark points, during the literature review. Okay, so that you can include into the proposal. Take notes that you can later incorporate into the text of your literature review. Okay, many times we read so many papers, but later on, after some time, we could not able to recall because of we forgot to take it to note of that. Okay, so always have a habit to take notes of your literature. Okay, so based on your reading and notes, you can look for what are the trends and patterns. Okay, themes. Okay, then debates, conflicts and contradiction, then pivotal publications. Okay, and gaps. What are the research gaps? Okay, so what is the missing from the literature? What are the weaknesses that need to be addressed? So from these points, you can concise your literature review. Okay, now while writing literature review, literature part has 3 main components. First one is the introduction. Okay, second one is the main body, right? And third one is the conclusion. Okay, so first one is introduction. So you have to introduce your topic here, right? So provide the background information about the topic, describe the objective of the literature review. Okay, the main body, what is the content of main body, we'll discuss in the next slide. And the conclusion will be you have to show the literature review has informed this approach, and you have find out this is the research gap, and how will you address this gap. This is the conclusion. Okay, and main body is very important. So depending on the length of your literature review, you might want to divide the body into subsections also, because your literature review may be of maybe it may be 1 to 2 pages. Okay, and that you can divide into introduction part, conclusion part, and main part is the central part is the main body part. And again, that main body part you can divide into 3 major areas, that is summarize and synthesize. Okay, what do you mean by summarize and synthesize? Give an overview of the main part of the each source and combine them into coherent. Okay, that means you have to find out the comparative study. Okay, that this reviewer with the over a period of time. Okay, this reviewer has done this research in this area, then this is overcome by these researchers. Likewise, you have to comparative study you have to do. Then next step, in the next paragraph, you have to analyze and interpret with your own way. Don't just paraphrase other researchers. Okay, add your own interpretation whenever possible, discussing the significance of finding in the relation to the literature. Okay, so you have to add your own interpretation that, okay, this is the limitation, or these are the findings of the given researcher. Okay, and then critically you have to evaluate in the next paragraph, mention the strength and weakness of the your sources, right? So you can modify you can structure the main body of the literature based upon these 3 points, subsections: summarize and synthesize, analyze and interprets, and then critically evaluate. Okay, right? And here in the evaluation, you have to find out the research gaps. Okay, and which is nothing but the motivation for your research proposal. Okay, the next most important part of the research, or most important element of the research proposal, is the research design and methods. That is research methodology. Okay, so what is research methodology? This section describes overall approach and practical steps you will take to answer your research questions. Okay, whatever research questions you have asked in the in the purpose of research, all answers will be you will find by research methodology. That is what is the typical approach you are going to use, what is the methodology you are going to use, what are the procedure What are the flow charts you are going to follow? This is nothing but research design and methods, which is very important. Okay, so the research methodology, it falls into like research type. Okay, so will you do qualitative or quantitative research? That you have to mention. Will you collect original data or work with primary or secondary sources? Original data or primary and secondary sources means what? What is the primary sources means? Which is directly available to us. For example, if I do some experimentation, and from that if I get some data, actual data, that is nothing but my primary sources. So provide raw information and first-hand evidences. Primary sources is the first-hand evidences that we collect directly. Example includes like interview transcripts. If I take the interview of the candidate, so that is the direct data available with me. Statistical data, then works of the art. Okay, so primary source gives you direct access to subject of your area. And what are the secondary sources? Secondary, that is second-hand information. Okay, or maybe the research papers, research academic books, which has done somebody else. So from that I can take the research data, that is nothing but my secondary sources. So you have to evaluate what are your primary sources and what are your secondary sources. And third question, in the research methodology, you have to mention, is your research design descriptive, correlational, or experimental? If experimental, what kind of method you are going to adopt? Okay, so that you have to mention in the research methodology, right? Then methodology in the research proposal, sources. What are the sources? So exactly what and who will study? Okay, how will you select subjects or resources? How you will take the samples? How you do the case studies? When and where you will collect the data? Okay, so what are the sources you will need to collect the data? Okay, that you have to mention in the research design and methods. Okay, then research methods. About research methods, you have to mention what tools and procedures you will use. For example, if you want to do survey, observations, or experimentation, so what tool you are going to use? What are the procedure to collect the data? What are the ways to analyze the data? If you are using some software or some analyzing tools or some theory you are using to analyze the data, that you have to mention. Okay, why these the best methods to answer your research questions? Okay, so you have to answer the question why your method is best over other methods. Okay, then the practicalities. How much time you will take to collect the data? That is time frame you have to mention. Okay, how will you gain the access to participants or sources? Okay, so these are the questions you have to write. Answer of these questions you have to write in the research method. So basically, it is an approach by which you will find the answer of research questions. Very simple words. Okay. Now the reference list is very important. As I already mentioned that you have to use a potential or quality references only, so that you can convince the reader that you have a strong background. You are using potential credible sources, okay, in your research proposal. Okay, right. The research schedule is another element of the research proposal. So what is the research schedule? Research schedule means what? How you are going to carry the research over the period of time. For example, you are submitting the research proposal for the time period of 1 year. So for 1 year, there are 12 months. So how you divide your work in 12 months? That is nothing but research schedule. Okay. For example, you are submitting the research proposal in the month of Feb. If you got accepted that proposal in the month of Feb only, okay, then how you will plan the your research for the 1 year period. Okay, month wise, maybe you may divide into month wise or week wise also. Okay, so like you have research phase like background research and literature review. Okay, what are the deadline? Okay, for 20th of Feb I will complete the background research and literature with the objective of meet the supervisor for initial discussion, conduct a more extensive review for literature, for relevant literature, refine the research questions, develop a theoretical framework. So this is my objectives for a particular month, having the research phase of research, background, and literature review. So every month I will write some research, small objectives, and with the deadline. Okay. So research design planning, data collection and preparation. Okay. So these kinds of, this is known as a research schedule. Okay. So this is way like data analysis in the month of May, writing your thesis or draft or report in the month of July. So likewise, you can split 1 year, 2 year, 3 year based upon the duration of your research proposal. You can split or you can propose the research schedule. Okay. Right. Now the budget, right? The very important element of the research proposal is the budget. Okay. So if you are applying for research funding, you will probably also have to include the detailed budget that show how much each part of the project will cost. Now budget has a cost, justification, and sources. So you have to justify the cost of each part of the budget. So exactly how much money you need and why you need this much of money to complete the research, you have to justify that. Okay. So in the second part, we'll see how to write budget, what are the different parts of the budget, and with example how to justify the budgets. Okay. And how do you calculate the amount? What is the source to how to for example, to purchase some equipment. Okay. So have you done the survey of that equipment in the market? What is the cost? Then how you calculate the cost of that equipment? So everything you have to justify with the source and cost. Okay. So budget is a very important part. So in the budget is like the budget is having the following points like travel cost. Do you need to go specific location to collect data? How will you get there? How long you will spend there? So everything you have to mention. Material, do you need access to any tools or technologies? Are there any training on installation cost? Whether you need some technical assistance for that also you have to include in the budget. Okay. Then if you need any assistance to for your project, what will they do and how much will you pay them? So that bifurcation also you have to mention in the budget section. Then time, you have to also mention how do you need to take leave from regular duties such as teaching, how much you will need to cover this time spent on the research, that also you have to mention. Okay. So budget is very important section. So your budget has to be very optimum with the proper justification. Okay. See the budget, then your purpose of the research, literature review, research methodology. These the four elements are very important, and among that budget plays a vital role. If your budget is optimal, justifiable, then there are chances that your project will get sanctioned. Okay. Okay. Now let us do the revision. Let us revise what we have learned till time. First one is determine your area, that is purpose of your research. Step number 2, study literature. Okay. How to do literature review, that we also discussed in the detail. Okay. We have already discussed. Okay. So you need to read as much literature on the general topic as possible, make notes, summarize each study purpose and finding. This is the second step. Third step, find the research gap from the literature. Okay. Find where you can add to the existing body of knowledge. Very important. Step number 4, once you know what is the research gap, then you can make the purpose statement. That is, what is the purpose of the research? Okay. So purpose of research proposal is, that means you have to sell your idea to the funding agency. In simple word, you have to sell your idea to the funding agency. Okay. This is the task to explain why you are investigating this topic. What are the purpose to do? Why others should be interested in your research? Okay. This is called purpose statement. This is step number 4. Step number 5, formulate questions and hypotheses. Okay, formulate the research questions, right? Research hypothesis determine what you will investigate and how do you expect to find in your study. Okay, so they are your supposed answers to the research questions. Step number 6, write an introduction. Okay, introduction has to be very concise and with coherent manner. Okay, then describe your methods. That is here step number 7. You have to describe the research method, research methodology. You should outline the procedure you plan to follow to complete the proposed study. Okay, so explanation of research design and some information on the data collection process you have to explain here. Step number 8, describe your research design. Okay, so you should describe 2 or 3 possible alternatives for each part of the design. Alternatives method also you have to mention. Okay, this is step number 8. Step number 9, describe your data collection procedures. It's very important. Okay, describe how you are going to collect your data. What are the tools available? Step number 10, last step, provide timeline and budget. Okay, that is research schedule along with budget. So these are the 10 simple steps. Okay, determine your research area, study literature, find out research gap, make the purpose of the your research statement, formulate questions and hypotheses, write introduction, write your methods, describe your research design methods, describe your data collection procedures, provide the timeline budget. These are the simple steps in the research proposal. Okay, the major steps are purpose of your research proposal. Second one is research methodology. Before that, strong literature review and budget. Okay, so budget is very important. So these are the important elements of a research proposal. Okay, so if you take the, in a simplified way, the flow chart, right? So first one is introduction, that is finding what you are going to investigate, why it is important, and how you will do this. Okay, this comes under introduction part. Literature review, why this is important and how it is carried out over a period of time by the existing researchers. Okay, then methodology, how you are going to achieve your research objectives. Then how you are going to collect the data, or how you are going to perform the experimentation. Okay, then statement of limitations, what are the limitation or weaknesses of your method or maybe existing method, and what are the constraints of the resources, we can say. Okay, and the last one is the conclusion, that is how you overcome the limitation or weakness of the existing literature or existing research work. So this is the simple flow of the any research proposal. Okay, which is very simple, I suppose. Okay, introduction, literature review, methodology, statement of limitation, conclusion, right? Okay, so I think this is very much clear to you now about research proposal. Now, what is research misconduct? Research misconduct means what? Research misconduct, do not copy and paste research ideas from the existing literature. Okay, so fabrication, falsification, plagiarism is the biggest issue. Okay, do not copy and paste, do not plagiarize the data while proposing, while writing the research proposal, or making results and recording and reporting them, manipulation of research material, equipment, processes, changing or omitting results such that research is not accurately represented in the record. Do not do the falsification, do not do the manipulation, do not do the fabrication in the results, which is known as research misconduct, which is a serious issue. Do not plagiarize, appropriation of another ideas, that is always cite the content you are taken from the another review, another literature, always cite them, always give always give citation to authentic resources. Okay, give credit to the given author. that you have taken this sentence from this literature. Okay, do not plagiarize. Okay, so plagiarism in research means stealing someone's content, idea, and represent it as your own without consent of that person. Okay, so which is very bad habit in research. Okay, do not plagiarize. This is the biggest issue nowadays. Okay, the originality of your research proposal get reduced if you do so. Okay, is plagiarism is a crime? Yes, itself is a crime and constitute copyright infringement. Okay, in academia and industry, it is a serious ethical offense. You may face legal proceedings from the original owner of the content or research paper. How to check plagiarism? So you have, I think, many options like here mentioned here. There are 30 online resources are there. You can check your plagiarism, but one of my favorite is Turnitin software. Okay, so Turnitin is the most popular and authentic software to check the plagiarism, actual content of the plagiarism. Then you have a plagiarism checker X, Grammarly, then Urkund also there, which is good alternative to Turnitin. Okay. Then how to avoid plagiarism? Okay, then you need to take sufficient time, right, for your reading, to take a sufficient time to read the content of your research, right? Keep track of your resources. Always keep track of resources. Do not forget to give credit to that resource. Okay. Paraphrasing means you write your whatever sentence you are taking, no, you write with your own words. Do not just copy and paste from the other literature. Okay. Use quotations. For example, some standard notations are there, like some theorem is there. Then use quotations. Okay, so that it can be considered as you have taken this as it is from the given literature. Okay, so always quotations with the benchmark statements. Cite the original resource. Do not forget to cite the original resource. Okay, if you forget to cite the original resource, then it will considered that it is your statement and which may comes under plagiarism. Add value by citing your material. Add your own interpretation while writing the literature review. Excuse me. Use plagiarism checker software like Turnitin, Urkund. These are the best softwares available before submitting the research proposal or as well as your research paper. So in order to write a good scientific research proposal, one has to make an honest effort to read the original resources thoroughly and then put down one's own ideas or thoughts in his own words with proper paraphrasing, citation, and by using quotation marks whenever necessary to avoid plagiarism. Okay, so do not copy paste. Write with your own thoughts, with your own interpretation. Okay, which is very important, right? So these are the few examples. In the next part number 2, I will discuss in these details examples like Department of Science and Technology. So with this link, you can go call for proposals. You will get here template. You can submit the proposals. Okay, then Science and Engineering Research Board, that is SERB. This is the official website. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. This is the official website. So these are the DRDO, BRC. So these are the some central research organizations where you can submit your research proposal to avail the funding. Okay. So we will see in detail one by one how what are the elements in the proposal and how you can write. Okay, in the next part. Okay. So I think this is for the 2 days. I hope it is clear to all what are the elements in the basic research proposal. Okay. and what are the expectations and how to write into that. I hope it is very much clear. So with this, I conclude my today's session. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask me. I will try my best to give you answer. Thank you all. Over to Joshi sir. Hello.
Yeah, thank you, sir. There is one hand raised from Nikita Kamble. Please unmute yourself and ask question.
Yes, please. Yes.
Nikita Kamble, please unmute yourself and ask question.
Sir, I am Mule AR,
Okay.
PhD student from Dr. Bamu.
Yes, yes, please.
I want to ask one question regarding the review of literature.
Yes, yes.
Which are the different ways, different that the books or any internet facilities from which we can obtain the different that the reviews for the last research related to our subject, especially.
Yes, yes, very good question, Atul sir. So the answer for this question is to what you do. You go for a survey paper, a best review paper. We can say the review paper. For example, you want to work in cloud computing, or maybe Internet of Things, or maybe neural network, or maybe artificial intelligence. So you just find one good journal with survey paper or review paper. So in that review paper, you will find thousands or maybe hundreds of papers reviewed by that author, and he will mention everything chronologically with respect to time, that this is the methodology developed over a period of time. So the best way to have a concise information about your research is to go for good review paper, good literature survey paper. This is the first step you can follow. I hope this is clear.
Sir, only question is that how we can obtain the review papers? Actually, can we obtain that from good websites or any other resources?
Yes, yes, you can download it from like IEEE Explorer. You can download it from Science Direct. You can download it from Springer. Okay, so IEEE and Science Direct can be considered as good journals. So IEEE Explorer.
IEEE Explorer.
IEEE Explorer.org. You can visit.
Yes. And
ScienceDirect.com.
Direct.com. We belong to education, and our subject is also belong to same. So any special that for education faculty?
Yes. So Science Direct. See, on Science Direct platform, you will find the from education to the science to history and all kinds of journals you will find.
Interdisciplinary specially faculty ahe. For that faculty, we want only the special any websites.
Yes. Science Direct is a very global, which covers from the science to the all kinds of domains they have covered. You just search in the Science Direct of your area of research. You just put over there, you will find so many journals and so many books.
Very thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Hello. Sir, sharing stop केले तर चांगलं होईल सर.
Yes.
लोंढे सर sharing stop केले तर चांगलं होईल.
Okay, sir. Okay.
पूर्ण screen दिसेल तुमची.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, sir, please.
I am Srikanth Patil from Karnataka, sir. I am assistant professor at Government Postgrad College, Bidar.
Okay, sir.
Sir, how we can avoid the self-plagiarism, sir?
Very good question, sir. So, for example, self-plagiarism means what? You are, taking the content of your own paper as it is in the next paper, or maybe your proposal. Okay.
Yes.
So what you do? So you have to, without losing the, the actual meaning of the your content, you have to write the same information with alternative way. Okay. Alternative way.
Whether I mention citation or not, sir?
Huh?
Will I take citation that?
Okay, you also see, you also cite your own papers. You also cite your own paper. That is one way.
Yes.
You can mention that this is the done by this that you only in the earlier work, and you are
Yes.
extending your earlier work with this. So that is also sufficient to avoid the self citation.
Self-plagiarism.
Say yeah, sorry, self plagiarism.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
हॅलो सर.
Yes, please.
तर माझा क्वेश्चन हा होता की आपण एखादा रेफरन्स रिव्ह्यू आणि डिस्कशन मध्ये सेम यूज करू शकतो का?
रिव्ह्यू आणि डिस्कशन येस करू शकता. येस, शुअर. तुम्ही जिथं रिलेव्हंट आहे तिथं तो तुम्ही साईट करू शकता. फॉर एक्झाम्पल डिस्कशन मध्ये जर तुम्हाला सांगायचं असेल की असा पॉइंट त्या रेफरन्स मध्ये मेन्शन होता आणि आम्ही असं फाइंडिंग करत आहोत, then you can mention that reference in the discussion also. There is no issue.
ओके सर, थँक्यू.
Is there any question from Archana Zangde? Please unmute yourself and ask. Archana Zangde.
Question is that my review.
आवाज येत नाहीये मॅडम तुमचा. आवाज येत नाही.
हॅलो सर, मला जे आता आपण स्लाइड शिकवलत ना त्याचे पीपीटी पाहिजे होतं सर.
Yes. I will share with the organizer.
बरं, ओके सर.
Yes.
थँक्यू सर. सर क्लास संपलाय का आता? हॅलो सर, नेक्स्ट क्लास आता कधी?
Yes. Any questions? Please.
अर्चना झांगडे, तुमचा काही प्रश्न असेल तर विचारा.
Sir,
बोला.
if my research topic or new, then how research reviews?
Can you repeat please? Your voice is breaking.
If my research I find out review research related research reviews.
If your research topic is new, then how to find literature review? That is your question, I hope. Yes.
I have given a question in chat box.
Okay. I'll check. Please, I will check. If our research problem is new, then how can we get the reviews related to our research problems? Okay. Yes. So actually, for this kind of problem, there are two possibilities. If your research problem is very new, then that you are that means that you have innovation. You have a very scope to do innovation. So this is the positive side. Okay, but you have very limited resources. That is the challenges. Okay, so you have to convince that through your writing, you have to convince that this is a new research topic and only these kinds of resources available. These are the limitations. Okay, these are the challenges. And if you are able to convince through your research methodology that I will solve this problem through my research methodology with given budget, then there are chances that you will get research funding because your research is new and there is scope to do innovation in this field, which is challenging because no one has done. Okay, so this is a good point that you can submit a research proposal in the new area, which is a challenging one. But during writing research proposal, you have to convince that no literature or literature review is very limited. Whatever available, which is given like this, these are the advantages, these are the limitations, whatever available, you have to just mention there, and you have a huge scope to do the research in this field. Then the chances will be more. But on the same line, you must have some research credentials on your own. That is, if you are having good publication record with new research topic, then the sanctioning of a research proposal get more chances. Okay, so you have to convince with the proper writing that you will find the solution with the given research methods proposed in the proposal. I hope this is clear. Yes. As a research student, can we use any plagiarism software which is available free of cost? Yes, there are free of cost softwares available, but I always recommend do not go for free of cost software, because that will never give you the actual plagiarism content. Okay, free of cost software never give you the actual plagiarism. Okay, so don't go with the free plagiarism software. You can go with your university software or go with your institute software that is purchased by your institute or university. But go with authentic softwares for real plagiarism if you want to know. Because see, even if you check that through the free software, which is not giving you the correct plagiarism, but when you submit your paper or proposal to the actual agency, then they will cross check your plagiarism with the authentic software, where they will find the plagiarism content which is more than what you have found through this free software. Okay, so this is another chance that your proposal will get rejected or paper will get rejected. So always go with authentic software. Yes, any other question?
मला वाटतं आपण थांबू शकू सर. मी पुढच्या भागातही आपल्याला परत आणखी पाहायचंच आहे.
Yes sir, yes sir, yes.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of our university, I really deeply express my thanks towards scholarly delivery, sir. And I think every audience is also thankful from his own feelings, own minds for this nice lecture. As Dr. Londhe sir presented the rationale of preparation of research proposal, his lecture enriched our knowledge, attitude towards the research and overall process of research, as well as the skills of research, and especially how to tune ourselves, our research proposal in tune with different funding agencies, with different purpose or with different perspective. How we can reshape our research ideas according to these agencies. I think in the discussion part, he clarified various doubts which are settled in the mind of every researcher. So his inputs will enrich our ideas, our knowledge, and it will be helpful to set new benchmarks for our own self, how to prepare the research proposal and how to go ahead with our research proposal. Okay, so once again, I express my deep thanks to Dr. Londhe sir, and also thanks to organizing committee for giving the opportunity to me. Okay, Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joshi sir. Thank you, Agmare sir, for this opportunity. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. May I leave now?